Well guys, in today's video I've got a water-cooled RC fan to review. I've got this from Banggood. There's a link to it below the video. This isn't one that yours truly is knocked up at home or anything. You can buy this as a kit of parts. It's very easy to assemble. On there you've just got 3 tubes holding the whole thing together. Anyway, I'm going to show you just what you get for your money to start with in a quick unboxing of the kit. I'm then going to take you straight to this finished assembly. Then I'm going to run it on the Arrma Infraction and do like a before and after test as to how effective it is at cooling the motor on this car. It's got a 40mm fan on the back of it, so it's maybe a little bit too big for the ESC, which I'm hoping it might cool the ESC, but I might play around and be able to get a little bracket to fit it over the ESC, because that would really help keeping the ESC temperature down, which is what I'm after on this car. But you could fit this to pretty much anything, in testing it, it definitely feels much colder with the air blowing out of it, and you can even fill this thing with iced water. Now while I'm fitting it to the Arrma Infraction, guys, because it's got a few heat issues, you could fit it to anything. In fact, when I was looking around online for ideas for water-cooled fans, one of the ones I found was somebody made a homemade one up for Traxxas VXL cars using a little coil around the motor on there. But with this one, with a fan on top of it, you could put it either hovering above the ESC or above the motor. So you've got options with this one. Okay, so what do we get for our money? I'm hoping there's a full list of instructions in here for a start. Tubing, obviously essential for our water. Our instruction manual, definitely going to need to read that. The water cooling bottle. Now, I saw someone else online that had made a homemade water cooling system using a nitro bottle, and they actually use something called PC coolant. So I'm going to look and see if I can get any of that, as they recommend using that instead of water. But that's our water coolant bottle. You can fill that with ice water. Obviously that's going to help. We've got our water pump, I'm guessing, in there. Our motor for driving our water pump. A few miscellaneous screws there. And more importantly, we've got our water-cooled fan with the radiator to connect the water inlets to on there. And that looks like quite a size to actually go on the sides of a motor as opposed to my ESC on there. That's certainly going to help keep any motor nice and cool. I'm going to see maybe though if I can fit it over the ESC on there. And for anyone doubting what this is for, guys, large size RC water cooling radiator system, guys. Nice and easy to assemble this one. Very easy to follow up diagram on there. That's nominal instructions on it. You've got 5-volt input, which I'm guessing we can take from our receiver for the cooling fan on here. One thing I do need to pay attention of, which you might need to maybe rig a little battery up for, is the 6-volt input to run the water pump motor, but should be fairly easy to assemble. But the very next thing I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to run a 6S pack through the car for precisely 2 minutes. But first of all, let's take that existing motor temp, 74 degrees, so we're going to check the motor temp after 2 minutes, then fit the water cool setup, let it cool back down to 74 degrees, and then run the thing again for 2 minutes and see just how much cooler the water cooled setup keeps the motor. Just remember, guys, if you like what you see today, don't forget to subscribe. So I'm going to run the car as hard as I can for 2 minutes, having just taken the temperature on there.
The alarm is set for 11:15.
Now, should be able to heat it a bit more, get a bit more heat in the tyres. Bit of heat in the ESC, Rich, rather. What are you talking about? Yeah, that's better. Because before I just couldn't get the steering angle to get the heat in here to get on the hard on the throttle in this space. Whereas here, now, should be able to get a bit of heat in the ESC. Not too much, mind you. I'm going to fry a third one. That's my 2 minute alarm, guys, so straight off of the body. Okay, ESC motor temp, guys, 92, 94, so 94 at the peak there, guys. Okay guys, so at a peak temperature of 94.2 there on the motor as our benchmark. I would say if you like this video, all shares of it to other people that you think might be interested are most welcome, as it does take quite a bit of time and effort to put something like this together. But as I say, guys, one of my catchphrases is, I do this stuff so you don't have to. So you're going to find out whether it works well or not. But I already know the answer, that's why I'm smiling. Well, how you mount the RC water-cooled fan is going to be down to you, but I've used 2 little Ziploc ties to hold the fan to my hot racing heatsink on the side of the motor. Got the fan pump also zip-locked on there I've got the water container on double-sided tape and just simply put a ziplock around the battery for the minute. That's purely for today's demo purposes. What I am going to aim to do is put two little spacers, one either fixing to either side, screw through there to hold that down nice and firmly so it's not going anywhere when the infraction's in maybe high-speed turns or takes a tumble on there, and then I'm going to velcro the battery onto the side of the water tank. I hope that makes sense. As I say, that is entirely down to you, and all I've done is made that little plate which sits on top of the diff casing on the Infraction. So time to fit the battery on, go and test it again. Okay guys, ambient temperature now 78 degrees. I've left it cooling down for a couple of hours, but it's simply warmer in the garage. By the time I've fitted all this on, it's actually warmed up outside on there. Anyway, power everything up, let's get testing. Set the alarm for 2 minutes again, temp gun on the side. As before, not going to bore you with a full 2 minutes of this thing, just get a bit of heat in that ESC. And when we're looking at ESC temperature, guys, note it was 4 degrees warmer when I started out on here, so we're going to need to take that out. We need to take that into account when looking at a differential between the two temperature readings. Hope that makes sense. Once the rear tyres begin to wear out, you can absolutely hoon the thing, but that may even push the ESC temperature up even more, of course. And as if on cue, that's the 2 minutes up. Okay, body clips off quick as you can, Rich. Okay, oh, my water mount came loose, water pump came loose. 85 degrees on there, guys. So guys, 85 degrees, that's moved up just 7 degrees in that 2 minutes test compared to the first one. And if you want to prolong the life of your motor, guys, you can also leave the thing running for a couple of minutes afterwards, where the water flow and the airflow are going to help keep the motor cooler, stop any residual heat soak in the motor.
Okay guys, well, in conclusion, what do the numbers tell you? Well, in the first part of the test, when I ran it for 2 minutes without the water-cooled fan setup fitted, the temperature rose by just over 19 degrees on the motor during that 2 minutes. In the second part of the test, okay, the ambient temperature was 4 degrees higher, but still with a water-cooled fan fitted, the motor temperature rose just 7 degrees compared to just a smidgen over 19 on the first one. So is the water-cooled fan doing its job? To my mind, it's doing an absolutely cracking job. There is just one little thing you need to be aware of with it. The thing is not just going to cool endlessly, and there's more on that just in a second at the end of the video. It's nothing wrong with the thing, it's just something to be aware of if you fit this same setup to the car. And there is a link to the water-cooled fan below the video, so if you like it, I would highly recommend getting one. You could fit that fan above an ESC, you could fit it to your motor just like I've done, so your options are open to you there, guys. It's a 40mm fan on there, so if you're putting it above a normal size ESC, you might need to make up some sort of little bracket on there, but you've got options available to you, and the thing does an absolutely outstanding cooling job. Anyway guys, hope you liked this video. If you did, then by all means share with friends, and if you loved it, don't forget to subscribe.
As a word of warning, I would say if anyone is buying this, you will see a little channel here that leads from this lid down to this tube here. This is the boil over tube, because if you kept this thing running inside like a 100-degree day for like 20 minutes or so, then the water eventually is going to get very warm and need changing on there. If it begins to boil over, it's going to come down there and run out of that spout. So what you could do is use some of the extra tubing they supply you with and take this and feed it out somewhere out of the side of the car, rather than it dripping down onto electrics, or face it the other way on the other side of the car. Anyway, just my 2 pennies on that one.
Well, thumbs up if you like this video, guys. Post any comments you might have in the comment section below the video, and hit the circle below to subscribe. And if you do hit the circle, don't forget to hit the bell.